Welcome to Chapter 6 of this course on integrating Casambi networks with the Adquio ecosystem. Today, we will see how to import the file we prepared in the previous chapter into an Adquio controller. But first, let's go over how to access the Adquio controller. We have two options. In fact, there are three, but we will only cover two here. I'll mention them. The first is to connect to the Adquio controller via the Wi-Fi generated by the controller itself. This will be the first method we will see. The second option is to connect via an Ethernet cable to one of its LAN ports. The third option would be to access via the cloud once it is already installed. Let's start by looking at the requirements for connecting via Wi-Fi. As you can see, we have here an Adquio Lite that is powered on. Its green LED is lit, but there are no Ethernet cables connected. This is important to highlight, as it is the essential condition for the Wi-Fi to be activated. If the Adquio Lite is powered on and does not find any network, it activates its access point so that the user can connect through it. In this case, I have already made the connection. We are already connected. Here you will simply see a Wi-Fi named Adquio, followed by some numbers. I have several here because we have multiple Adquios in our lab, but I know this is the one we are working with. So, we connect to it, and it will ask for a password. I cannot disclose this password in this training course because it is an open course and anyone could know it. Therefore, each of you following this course should refer to the quick start guide that comes in the box of any Adquio, where you will find the Wi-Fi connection password. The next step after connecting to our controller via Wi-Fi is to open a browser and go to the IP address 172.20.20.11. To log in, use admin and the default password, which, if you have not yet changed it, is 123456. It will prompt us to change the password to ensure the system security. We close this window, and for now, as this is a training session, I will not change it, but please do change this password and note it down in a secure place. We are now in our Adquio and can work with it. Access devices, modules, etc. This would be the first method, connecting to our Adquio via Wi-Fi. Now let's look at the second method. Option 2 is to connect to our Adquio controller via one of its LAN ports. If we have an Adquio Lite, as in this case, or a Pro, the LAN ports are the three on this side. This is port 1, and you can see it easily because it is labeled on the top. I have connected it to port LAN 3, and this cable goes directly to the laptop's Ethernet port. Alright? It's not difficult. A simple cable and a direct connection to the laptop's network card. We now go back to the laptop and see how to connect through that network card. We are back at the computer. So let's go to the control panel again. Because we need to set a static IP for our network adapter to access our Adquio. We remember that the range of static IPs for an Adquio's LAN is 172.20.20x. We will set it to 3 because we remember that we set 2 for our previous Lithernet device. That should suffice. So for the LAN, it's 172.20.20x, and for the Wi-Fi, it's 172.20.21x. All right? We confirm everything, close the windows, and open our browser. Then we go to the local address of our Adquio, 172.20.21. Very well, we log in. It remembered us from before, so it no longer asks for the username and password. We have the cookie saved. It prompts us again to change the password. We cancel it for now. We are back inside our Adquio, and in this case, connected by cable. We can proceed. Now you know how to connect to your Adquios to reach the next step, which will be to import the device we generated with the CSV to JSON converter. Let's move on. To import the file we generated, the first thing we need to do is create the necessary infrastructure for that import. Since we know the Lithernet device is a BACnet device, we must first create the module for that device within Adquio. We recall that modules were somewhat like drivers. Therefore, we need to generate a new module. We will set the type to BACnet IP. And since it is a BACnet IP port where any BACnet IP device can be connected, we will name it accordingly. Alright? Remember that on this port we can connect, for example, a Lithernet 231620 Lithernet via a switch. So having a single port does not mean we can only connect one device. Next, we select which of the ports on our Adquio Lite is connected to these devices. In our case, we know it is connected to LAN port 3, so we will select LAN. But if it were on the external Adquio network and accessible via our WAN, we would select WAN. On an Adquio Mini, only the WAN option will be available. The BACnet instance number in our case is the BACnet device number, which will be this Adquio controller. We recommend always setting it to 1, unless this number already exists on the network. And that's all. We don't need to do anything else, just save and confirm the changes. We now have a BACnet IP module functioning through the LAN of our Adquio, and now we are ready to import. So we go to Devices. We are in Devices, and we will create a new device, and on this screen, our intuition might tell us to start filling in the data. We won't do anything. We go to the bottom and simply click the Show Advanced JSON button. Here, we will delete what's there and open our file that we generated in previous chapters. And what we will do is select all its content. By selecting everything, we copy. Go to our Adquio, select everything here as well, and paste. If everything goes well and the JSON is well constructed, you will see the Save button light up. If not, it will show a red line instead of blue as in this case, and it will allow us to review it to correct errors. If we go to the top now, we will see that we already have a device configured with the name we gave it, with the address we assigned and the IP address. When we open this, we see that it is correct. It's the 2, which is what we assigned to our Lithernet. Additionally, we have all the variables configured for all the scenes, groups, devices, etc. What are we missing? Precisely what we created earlier, which is the module. And we will select it as a BACnet IP module. Very well, we save, confirm the changes, and have our module configured. This means that if we now go to variables, we should already have all the values from our Casambi network here. Why don't we see them? Because at this moment, we only have our laptop connected to our Adquio and nothing else. Alright, let's now connect all the devices so they can see each other. We will see that now the network configuration has changed a bit because we have integrated a new switch that allows us to connect on one side, the laptop in this case, on the other side, the Adquio Lite to its LAN port, as you see. And on the other side, the Lithernet. This blue cable goes to the PoE injector, which in turn goes to the Lithernet. So we have Lithernet, Adquio, and laptop. This laptop, once the installation is working, we can remove it completely. We can take it away because it is only needed at this stage of configuration. Let's go back to our screen and check how, now, with complete connectivity on the LAN port of our Adquio, with both the laptop and the Lithernet, we should be able to see the Casambi network data. One more thing, this Adquio, as you can see, now has a cable connected to its port, and the online light is on. This means it is already connected to the internet. All right? This would be the way to leave them working with complete connectivity, both through its LAN ports with slave devices and through its WAN port for internet connection and remote access. As you see, in this example, we are using a switch, but being an Adquio Lite, we could perfectly use all its LAN ports. In this case, we have a connection only with Ethernet and temporarily with the laptop, so there are 2 Ethernet ports. Since Adquio has 3, we could work perfectly without this switch. We could use its LAN ports. However, we decided to use a switch for this example, as it is the closest approach that will work with all controllers, including the Adquio Mini, which has only 1 network port. If that were the case, if we were working with an Adquio Mini, all network cables would come to this switch, including the WAN cable for the internet connection. Well, if we have done everything correctly, if we go to our devices, we will see that our Ethernet is already connected. Therefore, if we go to variables, we will see that all the variables of this Ethernet are now in green and have values. Additionally, we see that these values are modifiable. So if I want to write here, I can already do it, and the value persists, which means it has been sent to the Casambi network and the Casambi network has accepted it. Very well. With this, we have a good part of the integration between Adquio and Casambi working. Right now, we have the data from 1 or n networks, really the networks you need, available in our controller. From here, we can start to play with this data in very simple ways. For example, if I only want to see the levels, I can click on the magnifying glass and type *level. And with this, I now only have the levels of my devices, scenes, etc. And as you can see, all the variables that come from this Ethernet are editable. We have more pages where we have all the variables of this Ethernet. Now that we have all the information from the Casambi network within Adquio, we will start to see how to work with this information, how to create scripts, and how to make the most of it. See you in Chapter 7.